Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Hope we're well this evening. I know it's very late. Well, not very late, but it's 10. It's 10. It's 10:10 actually. Very good number to start then. 10:10. Now I explain now in a second why we're a bit late. We won't be that long anyway tonight too, of course. We won't go on to the early hours or anything like that. Let me see, Zoe. I probably should have put up that I was going to go live. I explain now in a second. But better to start at the beginning and explain. What is this now? Good memes. Give me a moment. Whip cows, yeah, but it was pretty nasty now. Pretty nasty scene. I don't know. I'm not going to show you the photo, and there's photos going around rather than the video. Pretty nasty scene. Let's put it that way. I'm here obviously in Bullets Bridge. It only lasted about 10 minutes, so it was only like 3 or 4 flashes of lightning, if that makes any sense. So pretty much it didn't last like an hour or something like that. So pretty much it was only a few lightning strikes, and pretty much what happened, they were underneath the tree, and basically that's what caused it. So obviously it started to rain, and the cows went in underneath the shelter. Didn't see it yet. There's photos going around. It's not on the Anglo South now, but there's photos going around the WhatsApp groups and stuff. It's pretty nasty stuff. Because the lightning hit the tree, and basically that's what caused the whole lot of it. Because obviously you often see cows out and about when it starts to rain. They run underneath the trees, and that's what happened in this instance. The lightning hit the tree. Because the worst place to be is actually underneath a tree, would you believe in lightning? Because the lightning usually hits the tree. And that's what happened in this instance. And basically the cows were electrocuted pretty much. Pretty much the word I nearly would use is fire too, because it was very intense. Obviously lightning is very intense, but very intense thing. The tree too is pretty very much destroyed too in a way too. But there's videos and photos going around. But it's not a nice scene, let's put it that way. And there's a video going around too, I think. Obviously, wouldn't probably be allowed to show them on YouTube. It is pretty graphic enough. But obviously, a few thousand of a loss to the farmer. Because they would be worth a couple of thousand each, the cows. And if you think of 10 of them, could be 15,000 euro of a loss to the farmer, take for example. Something like that, maybe. I'm not a farmer, I wouldn't know, but it would be a good bit, let's put it that way, of a loss financially. I don't know. That's many things that people are talking at the moment. I don't know. I don't think he would be insured for lightning to strike on the tree, because it didn't strike the cows itself. It struck the tree. So I don't know. It's very hard to know what to be insured for that. I don't think so. I don't think that was ever considered, that lightning could strike trees underneath it, like hit a tree and strike 10 cows. Whatever, but maybe one cow. The insurance company might cover, but they're not going to cover 10 cows, I'm sure. Because that could be 15,000 euro, and I don't think the insurance company would be willing to pay that. Yeah, that's pretty much, because it pretty much was, because there's not really much. Like usually one cow or something like that gets struck, like a tree goes underneath the tree and gets struck by lightning. It's not usually 10. And I don't think the insurance company would want to pay out the big money for it, because it would be a lot of money. It'd be 15 to 20,000 for the 10 cows. In terms of the farmer having to pay for the cow, the profit that he could have made, etc., etc. So the insurance company won't want to do it. I don't know, it'd be a hard thing to fight to get it. It'd be different if the cow was ran over or something like that, or got a disease and died and stuff, or had to be put down. You probably could get insurance of that, but something like this, it's hard to know what would happen exactly. But we wait and see. But obviously, as I say, loss to the farmer. Um, yeah, you probably could, but like the thing with dead animals, like flies, like loads of flies go to them, and pretty much it's nearly, uh, you know. But I don't think it'd be any good. Um, but he could, but I don't think so. Um, but yeah, apart from that, there's been not much happening. But the only reason why I was late, this table here, you've often probably seen in my videos and stuff. This old coffee table, pretty much, I used as a desk. Uh, Basically, I bought a new table, uh, and the person that was supposed to come with it tonight, he was supposed to come this evening for it, like to bring the new table. If that makes any sense. He said he would be here this evening. I paid him yesterday evening the money for it and delivery, etc., etc. So I don't know what happened, or where he is, or what's the story. I don't think he come now. That's why I went live, because I don't think he's going to come now at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much why I didn't. Because as soon as I would have went live, say at 6 o'clock or half five or something like that, or 7 o'clock even, he would have turned up, and I would have had to end the stream and all that to put the new table in and all that. It would have been too much hassle, especially because it's here. It's not like over somewhere else. It's here. It's exactly here. So I would have to move out the table and put the new table in, and trick about a bit, I suppose, to sort it out. And all the documents and stuff had to be moved. So there would have been a lot of trick about. So that's why I didn't go live and I didn't turn up. So great stuff. Um, so I don't know. He's supposed to be coming. He's supposed to come this evening, but you know. But the thing about it is, I didn't give him my, I didn't give him my number, but I told him where I live, etc., etc. So he should be able to find. I didn't give him my number, but that's the only problem. Just taking back, but I told him exactly where I am and to give him my air code and the address and everything. I just didn't give him my number. I didn't think he needed, so I presumed he couldn't find the place. After me telling him where I was and telling him the address, etc. So I presumed that was the culprit of the case, which is annoying if you ask me. Because this fella only delivers once a week, like on a Saturday. So the next time he probably would deliver, unless he comes tomorrow, maybe he will. But yeah, so I don't think he'd be coming tonight now. But yeah, unless he comes tomorrow, but he only usually comes on a Saturday. So it is a bit of a nuisance, if you ask me. But it's my own fault, and I should have probably given my number. But he did ask me for the address. I told him the address. So it is something to behold. But see, if I would have went live straight away, it would have turned up. So I probably should have done it in theory. Because as soon as I would have went live, it would have turned up. So that was the whole reason why I wasn't live earlier on. This is probably the latest in a long time we've been live, too. So apologies about that, because again, it would have been, hello, Fiona, how are we doing? Good evening. Good night, I suppose you could say, too. Not good night yet. We're not saying goodbye yet, but, in terms of the timing, I suppose. Hey? I'm very confused on that, but okay. I thought you said hello, Biden. Hello, Biden. But yeah, so that was basically why I wasn't here earlier on. If you wasn't here, I'm supposed to be getting a new table. He was supposed to come this evening, and he didn't come. It's a great stuff. And if I would have went live, he would have come. So mighty stuff. All that waiting for nothing, pretty much. It's a great story. Because there was no point in me going live, and he, as soon as I went live, it took 10 minutes. And then I have to go off and sort out this, Yeah, I don't think we don't kind of know, to be totally honest. I don't think I know myself. I don't think the farmer knows himself what he's being showed for. Now I know who the person is, of course, and all that. He's a local man here. I haven't been talking to him, obviously. Nobody really been talking to him, I don't think. But we see what happens, I suppose. Hopefully he does get covered, but I don't think so, because it would be a lot of money too. For one camera alone, it would be a lot of money. So it seems like it was a good day in Cork. A lot of people turned up in Cork. Now, if you don't know, there was a big protest in Cork against migration and other issues too. But OT is nowhere to be found talking about it. They're nowhere to be found. OT didn't even mention it on the news wire, I think, on their Twitter or the Facebook. So there you go. Lovely stuff, mighty stuff, news, and OT just doesn't want to talk about it. Great stuff. But what does it go? Yeah, I think all the trains and everything was booked up. Now, obviously, I usually wouldn't go to protests. I was at a protest during the lockdown, but that was it. Unless it's, I wouldn't go all the way to Cork, kind of. But let's put it that way. But I'm there in spirit. Let's put it that way. But it seemed like everything went well. Nothing really. Nothing happened. There was no trouble or anything, thankfully. By on God, there's Con, as far as I know too. I don't think anybody, like the Gardaí, picked anybody to arrest them or anything, or to annoy them, or anything. Hopefully not. Hello, Tony. You wanted us to go live here, yeah. There's one coming up in Dublin. But as I said before, I don't really mix into big, huge groups, if that makes any sense. If it's a small group, I go. If it's a massive group, it's not my cup of tea, let's buy. But it's a good show that people are very annoyed and very upset. So it's not just a small minority anymore, as Micheál Martin would tell you. It's a small minority, they say. But I don't think it's small, because there's definitely maybe it was 4,000 or 5,000 in Cork. Don't know exactly, but roughly, probably give or take, going by the images and stuff about that. Not as big as the one in Dublin, but still big nonetheless. About that. I would say probably around 5,000. That's what, looking at this and looking at what people are saying. It's around that in the local media in Cork. It's around that, what they're saying. 4,000 to 5,000, something like that. Which is a lot too, if you think about it. But not a word about it on OT. Just looking at OT here on Facebook and on Twitter here, not a word about it on the OT thing. So imagine that there's a big protest. We're not even going to talk about the OT's now. We're not even going to go there. So I suppose the next big thing to discuss that happened over the last few days is Elon Musk and Donald Trump, their big arguments. Now, Elon Musk went nuclear. He's deleted the tweets since then. But Elon Musk has went nuclear and pretty much said Donald Trump was on the Epstein files. Now, to be totally honest with you, I think anybody could put two and two together and figure that out. He's definitely probably is in the Epstein files. To what extent, we don't know. What I mean by that is he was in the same Epstein kind of operated in New York and stuff, was a socialite. And Donald Trump obviously was a real estate broker, etc., in New York. So obviously there's pictures and there's videos of him being with Epstein. To what extent he was with Epstein, was he on his island, etc., we don't know. But we only would know when they release the Epstein files. But the other thing that they don't want to release the Epstein files for, because a certain country in the Middle East is mentioned many times, and they don't want that to be exposed, of course. So that's the other reason why, too, of course. Yeah, he's definitely mentioned, but I don't know, did he go? That's the thing. There's a difference between being mentioned and did he go? Because the people who went to the island should probably be looked at very severely. We obviously know Bill Clinton is on it, and but we don't know. I suppose it's hard to know which is what. Are you talking about which are you talking about, Tony? Are you talking about the protest, or are you talking about which? But yeah, so Elon Musk is probably not wrong there, but he is probably mentioned somewhere in the Epstein files. But again, the only reason why they're not releasing this is because a certain country in the Middle East is named a few times in the files, and that's the only reason why. Because there's no really reason why to hide the Epstein files. There's no logical reason why you would hide them away from the public. Because it's of huge public significance, especially the people that's named in them, former presidents, when they were current presidents at the time, etc. Big, powerful people, pretty much. They should be pretty much named, and all the files should be released. But again, as I said, the only reason why, because there's a certain country in the Middle East that's involved, and they don't want to have to deal with that, because a lot of things would be revealed about that, and that's the only conclusion anybody can come to on why they haven't been released, because there's no other conclusion in the world you can come to. That's why it's been hidden. It doesn't make any logical sense. Yeah, but not even that. There's a certain country in the Middle East. It's not really the powerful people, but there's a certain country in the Middle East that they have very close ties to, and they don't want to mention that. Not allowed to talk about that. If you get my drift, I can't say it outright, but you get what I'm saying, because it's pretty much guaranteed that it is pretty much so in the Epstein files. Yeah, like Donald Trump, but they would have been together in New York and stuff. That's my point. And there's photos and there's videos. But to what extent he was involved with Epstein, we don't know. But again, he's probably mentioned somewhere. How was my day? Not too bad, apart from this fellow that didn't come with me table, Tony. Apart from that, everything else went fine. It was a nuisance that he didn't come, because I would have been live earlier, only if I didn't come. But it's my own fault anyway. I should have given my number. He has my address and stuff like that, but I didn't give him my number, so it's my own fault there. But he should probably be able to find it. I presume he didn't find it. The patrons always let me down. I suppose he's supposed to be getting it done before Christmas. So we see what Christmas, it's for that way. The patrons already let me down. Imagine I was buying this table. The idea was we get the home room painted. We get the new table and stuff when the room is painted. And pretty much I have to go back on my plans now, because pretty much the room is not painted. So still we're here. So it's going to take another probably 20 years before anything's done. But hopefully sooner or later be done. Because I want it done before Christmas regardless. As I say, I'll be asking for my money back and getting somebody else to do it. Because I'm waiting a year and a bit now at this stage. Well, near enough a year probably in a bit. So, and it's not like I'm asking them to do the whole place, A day or two will do it. Yeah, the room. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking to be done a bit. I'm not looking for, I won't be looking at every individual speck in the wall to make sure he's painted it correctly. As long as it's done, I don't really care after that. To be totally honest. There's a lot of trouble in California and Los Angeles with ice raids and people protesting. The usual thing. Yeah, well, he's the local man too. He's not like he's run away. He's still here. He's just doing other big jobs. And that's the thing he's doing. Right, I suppose in the way he is correct in what he's doing. Because he's doing outdoor work. He's doing outside painting. and bigger jobs, big rooms that's been new house and stuff paid in them. Because there's more money in that, compared to doing a small one. But he's been paid up front, etc. But you get what I'm saying. But still, I asked him. It's a long time. You know yourself. I've been here yapping about it for the last good few months. It's not like we haven't paid him or anything, and. But usually people would pay him after he's finished. But I just paid him up front because I had the money there, and I said, "Fuck it, pay him and be done with it." But it's a nuisance. It's not like he's won away with the money, of course, because he's still here. He's the local pater here. It's not going to run a mile. Let's put it that way, because he's still here. I'll come across him regularly. Yeah, it'll probably be true in that. Yeah, but no, There was a house done up in Cavan Town, and the whole house has to be done. The kitchen, the living room, the sitting room, the upstairs rooms, and he's making a big buck on that. He's charging them plenty for that. So why would he come to me first, then when he can get double the money for doing the whole house? If that makes any sense. But he's deal enough. Everybody says he's deal, but he doesn't. He does a nice enough job. People say. But you get what I'm saying. I suppose it makes sense. You make me wait because again, it's only one room. It's not like I'm getting the whole house painted. But like that house, as you said, they're doing it up. They're doing the upstairs. He's doing the kitchen. He's doing everything. Like he's doing the whole house pretty much inside, not the outside, the inside. Not my house, obviously, but I'm talking about this house in the town he's currently at. Because how I know that, I seen him the other day going into it. But yeah, so he'd be stupid to come to a smaller job first when he's already been paid for it, and go and get a big job done and a lot more money, because I think they're paying nearly double than what I'm paying. But I suppose it doesn't really matter whenever he does it. As long as he gets it done before Christmas, I don't care. But I heard it before. That's what I. No, that would cost the out. He probably could do it. He's not too bad at painting, but I nearly would be better doing that at this stage. But a cup of tea and jam sandwich, great stuff, mighty stuff, going all out. Let me see. Let me see. Where am I now? There's something. There was a few other things I wanted to talk about. Yeah. So, any fun with anybody else here? Any other crack? Where was this now? No, we're not going to go that far now. We're not going to do that. Where in the name of God? Yeah, so it seems like that was Cycling Company in Mulla in County Cavan. It's been here for more than 50 years in Cavan. So most likely, it's likely the 215 jobs that's there in the Cavan Recycling Company are gone pretty much. It seems to be the way. We don't know which to make up their mind. Are they going to do it or are they going to not? Because it's better to tell the workers, are they going to be gone or are they going to be kept? What's the story? Because this era of kind of, they could be kept, they might not be kept. It's just all iffy. So they should just make up their mind at this stage. I didn't even know Cavan was playing. It tells you how much I'm connected to the county team. But Cavan couldn't beat Eggs. We couldn't beat Bottom. about a jam sandwich. I actually never had a jam sandwich, as far as I know. Um, where was this yolk? Give me a moment. There's that much stuff on Twitter nowadays. You can't make out anything. There's just too much. Like there's that absolute too much to look at on Twitter. But yeah. I actually don't think I ever had a jam sandwich, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's hard to know. Maybe I did when I was younger, but I wouldn't go for one now if it was in front of me. Let's put that way. Eve. Oh. Love a marmalade sandwich. I don't know. I just have a plain sandwich. I usually don't put a bit of ham into it. Ham, if I have it. But that's about it. Nothing too much. Yeah, butter too. If I'm ever having a sandwich, but usually not marmalade or stuff. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this because it's pretty funny. So this is basically the Green Party in Finland, the Green League, I suppose you could call them. So pretty much this is the deputy leader of the Green Party in Finland, and in fairness, he's not too wrong. So pretty much he's calling the minister for Citus, the deputy prime minister, a chimpanzee. Great stuff. Because obviously we know Wika said that empathy doesn't belong in politics. A complete schizo thing to say, just to say. And then obviously the cuts are questioned and all that. Obviously the leader of the Green League. But yeah, so basically Wika's having a meltdown at the moment. As they usually do, of course. So basically everybody's losing their shit about this. As they do. Empathy leads to poor choices. Well, at the moment in time, there's no empathy. It just cut everything. I don't know, but well, you agree with him. You agree with Wika, you mean? He's saying that empathy does belong in politics. He's basically saying chimpanzees even have empathy. I think you misunderstood that. So you're agreeing with the Minister of Citrus. That's one around the place with a big pair of citrus. And just put the country into 9 billion more debt. So great stuff. That's a very popular opinion at the moment. I know, but in all seriousness, nobody likes them. In all seriousness, the Finns party at the moment only have about maybe 3 or 2% support in the whole country, because basically it's all collapsed. Everything's collapsed in on them. Everything's just blowing themselves up. I don't know if you remember the last month. It didn't go well at all. They lost over 200,000 voters and 600 council seats. It didn't go well. So it's not that popular of opinion. That's what I have at the moment. And not to mention they're slowly going bankrupt anyway, Wika and the True Finns. Not to mention that, because literally nobody's giving them any money now, so it's not going well. So I don't know about you, but I don't think anybody could support that kind of carry on. Oh, I know what you're saying, but the thing is, it's psychopathic. What the language they're using, it is psychopathic, because they're literally making their own people suffer to an unimaginable extreme. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say is that acting like I don't know what, but they're acting extremely evil. Like, home care, take for example. They took that away from elderly people, 24-hour home care. They got rid of that. They cut it all. So pretty much somebody that was getting 24 hours a day, say for example, a 90-year-old, only gets about 20 minutes a day now because they decided to cut it. And not to mention then they cut elderly people. Many times they cut the, like they're making literally people that can't even walk, force them into jobs and stuff. Like it is pretty cruel what they do. And it just shows you really in the way empathy doesn't belong in politics. They don't really care for anybody. And I don't like whatever about foreigners and stuff like that in their country. Uh, they probably should expect nothing from the Finnish government, of course. But what I'm trying to say is their own people they're making suffer the most. You know, which is very ironic thing for the true Finns, supposed to be for true Finns, etc. Because it is pretty evil what they're doing in terms of different things. Like that's only touching the surface of what they're doing. Like already the what to take the rights away from people, workers' rights, etc. Yeah, but not so many now. Like, have you seen the protest in Cork? Have you seen the protest in Dublin? It's not a small minority now. Not many people have much empathy for the refugees coming in now. Let's put it that way. Maybe a few months, maybe a few years ago they did, but nowadays that's all gone to mush. Because nobody really has empathy anymore for the people coming in. Because a lot of people don't feel safe in their own towns. And they don't feel safe walking the street. And that's pretty much got rid of all the empathy, for anything like that. If that makes any sense. So there's pretty much no empathy here for that kind of carry on. The only people who have that empathy now is the NGOs and the big businesses. Yeah, but not. I hear literally when a few years ago, 2 years ago, I heard a lot more of that. Nowadays, that doesn't exist. I had the same people in cavan, you know yourself, saying that too. But obviously, I was always saying we should only take in a limited amount of people, etc., etc. But that was always set back. Oh, we have to do more, and we have to do that. But everybody's very quiet. That loud vocal minority is very much gone now because it doesn't exist. It's not going too well for them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that was 2 years ago, but nowadays it's changed up in fields. Like it's changed everyone. Like a lot of people in the town, take us up, you know yourself, you probably heard it many times over. But the houses out there by the hospital for the Ukrainians, the modular homes, people are fuming. There's people waiting on the council waiting lists in Cavan 12 years, 13 years one person's waiting. And they're fuming about that. So there's not much empathy now when it comes to that kind of stuff because there's a lot of people waiting on council lists in Cavan. And there's not much empathy when somebody gets jumped in the queue before other people, if that makes sense. That goes out the window in that regard too. But the only people who do that, empathy is important, of course, because I do think you're soulless if you don't have empathy for what you're doing, the effects, because everything's about people, like your own citizens and stuff like that. You have to kind of have a bit of empathy because if you act without any emotion and stuff like that, you pretty much become soulless, and there's not much meaning to stuff. Pretty much, what I mean by that is, you become very soulless, like without a soul, and not where you don't think about your actions and how it affects people, etc. And I think it shows really what the truth is. Like it really, really does show. Like if you ever want an example, of how not to govern, it's a great example if you look at Finland at the moment. Yeah, like that's the majority of the narrative now. Like Michal Martin would have told you 3 years ago that it's only a small minority. What people say that, but unfortunately, that small minority is grown very large. Maybe about 70% of the country. It's like, hang on a second. There's so many Irish people homeless. There's so many people leaving the country because they can't get jobs, they can't get houses. The only Paddy's like, hang on a second. This is not going well. So it's a very focal now. It's a very focal number now. Let's put it that way. It's not a small minority now. It's a big minority. If when you just look at Cork today, it's not a small minority because they hear Michal Martin a few years ago. There was only about 5 people in the country giving out about it. I don't know what he would say now. But I do think empathy belongs in politics. because the actions of the true Finns, particularly Rika, shows that she doesn't care for anybody. Simple as that. And particularly, again, it's very vicious when they say they're true Finns, and people that are the most the true Finns, like people who survived, who grew up during the continuation war, etc. So some of them still alive today, and they cut their pensions and stuff like that. It's very soulless in a way. It really is soulless. And then not to mention people that can't even walk, people who are disabled, cutting their allowances and stuff. It is very soulless. They can then give themselves and the rich people a big, huge tax cut, because that's what we could do. She give herself and the 1% in Finland a big, huge tax cut, while at the same time the poor people have to line up for food, etc., or food banks, etc. It's not. That kind of shows you everything you need to know about empathy. What do you mean in wouldn't want to know? Like, I think it's everybody agrees now. Beforehand, it was the silent minority that Santa Marin, that, how would I put it? That that Santa Marin was an evil woman, etc., etc. But everybody nowadays, I'm sure you've seen the polls and stuff. Everybody's not happy with the current Finnish government. Like, I mean, literally everybody. Like in some cases, in the 80% of the Finnish public is absolutely fuming with the current Finnish government. And just to put in perspective, Sanna Marin's government never had that level of distrust in the government. Like, the current Finnish government is the most untrustworthy government in Finnish history. Like, it is. Like, if you look at all the surveys, look at all the polls. There's never been a government in 110 years or something like that. Finland's been independent since 1918. There's never been a government in Finnish history such untrusted as the current Finnish government. And that really tells you all you need to know, because there's nothing. You can point out all the time different things that was done very well and stuff, and things that have been done today. Like, a great example is that tax cut I was just talking about. Like, in 6 weeks, Finland has gained €9 billion in debt just from Rika's tax cut, because they decided to cut the corporation tax, and for the 1% of Finnish society, they put a deficit. They've done a Liz Truss pretty much. They put €9 billion extra in the public deficit, in the public debt. Like, they're literally all insane people that run Finland at the moment. Don't mean that. I can't emphasize that enough. They actually are insane. Like, Sanna Marin wasn't that literally insane in terms of let's do all this and bankrupt the country, and let's just forget about everybody and let them watch. Like, there's other actions. It's just, I could go on forever, but I'm being there and stuff like that. Like, when I first went there, not last year, yeah. There still was a minority of people saying, "Oh, the True Finns and the National Coalition Party could come back." They could come back. They weren't too happy with them, but still at the same time, we were open for them to do something, maybe to improve their opinion of the National Coalition, the True Finns. When I went to Finland this year, it's overwhelmingly that they shouldn't have probably got rid of Sanna Marin. And I think everybody can agree with that narrative now, that they probably shouldn't have got rid of him. Whatever, because the majority of people had an issue with the coalition, not with Sanna Marin herself, with the Social Democrats. They had an issue with the Left Alliance and the Green League and the smaller parties in the coalition that made up the coalition. And that's pretty much what caused them to lose the election, was the Left Alliance and the Green League. People weren't happy with them. So the government suffered because of that. But apart from that, people nowadays think it was a great time, because a lot of people look back on it very, very good, very goodly, let's put it that way, compared to modern day Finland, because it is a mess. Just to say, from being there, it's just constantly a mess. I heard Michelle Keaton's speech. Very good. Quote Michael Collins. Great stuff. Mighty stuff, may I say. But yeah, Michael Healy will be very upset now, I'm sure. But let him be upset. But no, I can't emphasize to you, Brian. And I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't believe it, to be totally honest. But yeah, it's a quite difference in every regard. And I think every Finnish person agrees with that. That it is a quite difference. Um, to see the level of this trust, and to see the level of, I don't know how I would phrase, but people are not happy with the current Finnish government, and they're very vocal about it more because usually Finnish people are very quiet, but people are very very vocal when you ask them about it. Only Finns, like I'm saying outside the Social Democrats, people that I knew and stuff like that. Like the only Finn in the cafe shops and stuff were very vocal of the business subsidies being cut, the taxes being increased, and pretty much what they're getting back is abuse from the government. So a lot of people are very distrustful of the current Finnish government. So I don't think anybody would agree with the assertion now that Rico was better than Sanna Maun. I don't think anybody would agree with that in any regard. But there's the whole topic you could go into there about it. Like we could be here for the next hour. It wasn't talking about which we talking about. So I've lost track. No, but there's like you could talk for hours about it because it's an interesting way of looking at it. Without any way of looking at it, how would you describe it? It's interesting because it's the first time probably in modern Finnish history. You know the way the Irish governments have always been shit here. But it's pretty much the first time in Finnish history that the Finnish people deemed the government as an enemy. You know, not a benefit to them, but as an enemy, I suppose, if that makes any sense. Compared to in Ireland for the last probably onwards of 40 years, everybody in this country has conceived the government as a threat, as a danger to society. I suppose this is the first time in Finnish history that's pretty much the narrative. Well, not the narrative, but the reality on the ground. If that makes any sense. And it's kind of ironic when they're called True Finns. Imagine if there was such a party called the True Irish. You know, takes power, and things get worse. I don't know if it could get any worse here compared to what it is at the moment. But imagine if the True Irish Party came to fruition and took over the country. Well, not by electoral means. I mean, you know, it'd be something when they literally turn against the wrong people. You could say that for Fianna Fáil being together too, I suppose. But that's my rant over. Playing with fidget spinner. Imagine this is what I'm doing on a Saturday night. I could be out drinking or doing anything. I'm playing with a fidget spinner. Great stuff. I wouldn't say afraid. Like it'd be very stupid of the Russians to go in on Finland. It'd be very very stupid because after being in nuclear bunkers, like big huge nuclear bunkers, and like even in where I was staying, the apartment complex I was staying, there's an underground like bunker for case of shelling of war and that. So it's very stupid. It'd be a mighty stupid thing for the Russians to do because literally it's the most prepared country in the world for a war. So it'd be the most stupidest thing they ever could do. Because pretty much since the 1940s, they've been preparing for the Russians to come back to Finland, and you know they didn't. And the Russians kind of never had a good time in Finland to start with, so I don't think they'd be that thrilled to go back into Finland. You know, because it didn't go well from the last few times. So, and it's very bad when the snow starts speaking Finnish. You know, it doesn't go well for them. When am I getting married? Who knows? It's funny the amount of people you have like asking you, do you have a girlfriend or stuff like that? Like it's a modern society thing. Where everybody just asks, oh, when you have a girlfriend or you in a relationship, all this kind of crack. It's a funny thing. Like it's usually the thing always asked by people, the elderly people especially. You know. Hello, Sean. How are we doing? I'm getting abuse here. um, they're trying to expose me. I'm only joking. How are we doing in it, Sean? Um, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Well, not to the extent other people would. Let's put it that way. Like I touch them now and again. Let's put it that way. Not all the time. You know, like there's other people that talk about literally every 10 seconds of the day. Every once in a while, I talk about it. You know, but it's better to find the right person than all that kind of carry on. Because there's literally people I've seen on Twitter, on Tinder, and when I'm not on Tinder, but on Twitter, you see people post about the Tinder, how many people they slept with, etc., etc. Yeah. Oh, I don't mind. I often joke with them and stuff. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant to me. But no, I'm just saying it's funny, just how many people do say it. But yeah, no, it's better to find the right person than turn into that kind of thing. What I'm trying to say, because you see it on you see it on Twitter that people say, "Oh, I met up with this one last night and had a fling," and "Oh, I done this and I done that." It's better to be this way than that way. Let's put it that way, because that's pretty much, I don't know. Oh, we made OT. They're talking about the cows being killed. The cows are more important than people protesting. This is amazing. Um, apparently the cows' lives matter in protest. So we were just talking about 10 cows killed pretty much down the road from here, and then literally, as this person posted that Quisling, beware, mongrel bites. She's still not talking about the protest in Cork, but the cows. We talk about the cows. Hello, ET. Doing? Good evening. How are we doing? Do you like the show? You're talking about the protest I'm just talking about there, the Cork protest. Well, it shows that people are very infuriated with what's happening. It's not that I like them. Like, people shouldn't have to go out and protest on a Saturday or on a Sunday, whenever during the week. People should be heard before it comes to protesting. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the same as many other issues. Like, people are talking about them for a long time, and then it culminates in the protest. It shouldn't have to go to that, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? Yeah, it's a big. We were just talking about that earlier on, Sean. Yeah, like a lot of people, like a few years ago would have been unimaginable to see the numbers of people coming out. But as I say, it shouldn't have happened. All this shouldn't have happened in the first place. In terms of all the people coming in, there should have always been a cap on it. First of all, um, they shouldn't have been let in. Pretty much, that's what I'm saying. It should never happen in the first place. You know, but never will. Yeah, like OT probably will talk about it eventually, but they're too busy on about the cows. Like, like the cows are important. Don't get me wrong, but you think they would maybe put up an article saying there was a big protest in Cork. We probably should acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yeah, obviously there'd be Gaudi everywhere, but there isn't that many Gaudi in the force as there used to be. Like, people are leaving on Galway and O'Connor in droves. They can't get Gaudi, so there's not many of them left. And there's a majority of Gaudi who joined the Gauds. Like, there's a few who've been integrated into the Gauds, 150, I think, of them. Like, a lot of them only stay for a few years. They don't stay the full length because they get sick of it, and then they go off to Australia. So, there's not many Gauds staying in the Gaudi. But a lot of Gaudi do feel, because they've been told by Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael what to do. It's not the police; they're not policing by consent anymore. The whole idea of an Garda Síochána O'Connor is you police by consent. Nowadays, that's all gone out the window, unfortunately. Yeah, here in Dublin, yeah, the countryside is worse. Like, all the new Gardaí who've been integrated today into the Gardaí, the 150, all of them are going to Dublin, pretty much. All of them are going to Dublin. There's a few going to the country. But pretty much what I'm trying to say, in Cavan here, Cavan Town, like you're in Dublin there, we lost more Gaudi than any other part of Holland to retirement with resignations, etc. And then some of them were moved up to Dublin. And then there was nobody to replace them pretty much. So there's less Gardaí in Cavan than there ever was. So the countryside is suffering more. So pretty much they're pulling them all up to Dublin, and the countryside's left to defend itself pretty much. Like the what the close Kinlalek Garda station here in Cavan. They have it open partially now, pretty much, but they want to close it fully. And take the Gardaí and put them up to Dublin. Take them Gardaí out of that station and put them up to Dublin. But they succeeded to a certain extent because it's only partially open a few times a week. But, that's what I'm saying. So it keeps taking away the Gardaí from here. And then obviously crimes are going up. We're in Ireland as that. Hello, the Wappling. How are you doing? Good evening. I hope we're well. Of course, well done to Cork. Yeah, but no, it's pretty bad in the border counties. Monaghan too is not very great, which in terms of Garda presence and stuff. Yeah, a lot of break-ins, like a lot of rural crime, like cattle being stolen and stuff in this part of the country. In Dublin, like the Gardaí are quick enough to respond to something. In Cavan, they could take an hour or two to turn up to a burglary that was anything goes well. It is pretty bad in some parts of Cavan. There's not that many guards in Cavan at all. In all of County Cavan, I think there's only less than 100 or something like that at the moment. There's 60 something in Cavan Town Garda Station. There used to be 90 something. There's only 60 something now. And then Bailey Board, there's only about maybe 20, 30. So there's about 100 and something guards in Cavan altogether. And all of County Cavan. Yeah, that's why people are out and protesting. Because as I said to you there at the beginning, like people shouldn't have to go out to protest in the first place. Take their time out of their day. It should have been addressed many times over. That's what I'm trying to say. It should have been addressed. It's not like it's a new issue just turned up today, fresh out the boat. This has been happening for, as you know yourself, for the last few years. For more than the last few years, nobody's ever addressed it. And that was left to SEMO, if that makes any sense. And then pretty much was shouted down as far-right extremists, if you mentioned it. But, there's a lot of far-right extremists nowadays. I wasn't joking, but, well, not a few days now, but a few hours, definitely. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. 70% of the Gardaí are in Dublin, especially the new Gardaí that have been put to Dublin. Yeah, it's a bit silly, yeah. But yeah, in all the Garda stations, there used to be a huge amount of guards here. Not even long ago, 2018, there was trouble up here. Probably remember Quinn Industrial Holdings. Remember Kevin Lonnie was kidnapped and dumped along the side of the road, and there was shootings and firebombing. There was a huge amount of Gardaí put up here at that time and still hasn't settled that feud either. Like it could arise at any point again. It was a huge thing. I'm sure you probably remember it. But yeah, at that time there was a lot of Gardaí in Cavan. But all of them have been taken away because nothing has happened. But yeah, there was huge trouble at the time. They had a huge amount of armed support units and detectives here, and there was a lot of people in witness protection, and it was an insane amount of stuff. Yeah, so what are you talking about? A few cows. Yeah, Quinn Industrial Holdings stuff, yeah. Don't seem interesting, yes. Yeah, we're not even going to go there. I can't talk about that one. Someday I will put up a video. Don't worry. Someday I will put up a video describing the whole lot of it and talking about the picture behind us. But that's a long story. That's a really long story. You would have to sit down for 6 hours to discuss it. But come back someday and I will put up a video. Like imagine I have a video recorded of it, talking about the whole incident. Not the incident, but how there's a picture like that on my wall. But we will record a new one. Like the one I recorded wasn't good. But someday I will put it up on YouTube. You'll see it sooner or later, hopefully. But it was a long video, and I didn't think it was good enough. So someday there will be a video explaining that whole. It'll be a long video now, but explain the whole lot because you're not the first person to ask about it. about the literal elephant in the room. Like quite literally top of the elephant in the room in terms of immigration. Well, that's the elephant in the room there. Yeah, like quite literally the elephant in the room. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying, Brian. Yeah, we got 6 hours. I don't think we have got 6 hours to just go on about a picture. I don't know about that now. Yeah, like there's a lot of rural Garda stations that's closed. Ghetto and dust, a lot of them. Like they were supposed to open Bomboy Garda station in Cavan. It was in the program, not this government, the last government was in program for government, and they still haven't done it. Yeah. So there you go. Adrian Lisa. No, I suppose you could call it that too. But I actually seen the wheel. Well, not the wheel. Unfortunately, didn't see the finished version of the Mona Lisa. Unfortunately, I don't know what you hear that time. Uh, we were supposed to go and see the finished version of the Mona Lisa when I was in Finland. Um, Unfortunately, they've taken it in. Yeah, there's a lot of Gouda stations, nobody in them. that's the part. Like in Cavan at the moment, Sean, there's 2 Gouda stations open in the whole County Cavan. The other ones are only open sometimes, past buds and then oftentimes. But the only ones that's open is Cavan Town Gouda Station and Baybo Gouda Station. They're the only ones that's open. We used to have Cotill Gouda Station in County Cavan open. That used to be open full time. That's closed. The early 2000s, the early 2011. So Ballyconnor Gouda Station's only open an odd few hours a day. I think it's open to the evening time and then it's closed. It's closed at night. And then Beltobit's supposed to be open all the time. It's not. Bomboy was closed a long time ago. Killashandra used to have a full Gouda station open all the time, but now it's not. Kingscourt for Falmartin from it's not. It's not open either. Like then Baileybo too is not open. So pretty much the only Gouda stations in Cavan. Ballyjim stuff is not open either. Virginia's not open. Muller Gouda station's not open. So the only Gouda stations in County Cavan now, pretty much Ballyconnor you could classify as open, but it's pretty much not open at night. It's open during the day, but it's not open at night. So it's pretty much only Cavan Town Gouda station, available Gouda station. That's the only Gouda stations in County Cavan, in all of County Cavan, that's open full time. Oh, it's not that. Not many people want to join the Gaudi. That's the thing. And then the people the Gaudi catch, they let off, etc. It's behind you. It's I'm sure make a movie, but we're not. We're not going to go over that. We'll not do that. But there's a lot of reforms that need to take place in the Gaudi, but a lot of people won't join them now because what they're doing in terms of the Irish people, etc. Like they're busing people into iPass settlers, etc. Not many people want to kind of be doing that nowadays. And there's obviously many other issues in Garda Síochána. The Garda station is not. Yeah, like they're in iPass settlers. I've seen that in Grip Media, yes. I don't know how legitimate it is, but it's only an accusation pretty much from the moment. Maybe there's a bit of proof behind it. I haven't seen much of it. But Grip Media were reporting that they're going into iPass settlers now to look for Gaudi because they can't get Irish people to do it. That's what they're saying. We don't know if that's true or that's false. We wait and see, I suppose. But just to let you know, that's what's being said at the moment. I could be wrong. We see. Only time will tell. Oh, it's not true. Like, but I'm just going by what Grip Media put an article up. I haven't looked into it too much, so take that with a grain of salt because I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into it much myself, but it sounds legitimate because the Guardian Cavan went into a mosque in Cavan trying to get people to go into Garda Síochána. Like, did happen about a few months ago. They did go into a mosque trying to get the Gaudi, trying to get people from the most of the Gardaí, pretty much. So it doesn't surprise me. Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like a lot of people won't join the Gardaí, but a lot of people won't because of that. No, not even that too. They get more money in. They get more money in Australia. Like there was a young guard. There was a few years in the Garda Síochána, and now he's working for New South Wales Police in Australia because they're coming over here with big money, saying if you come to the New South Wales Police Force, we will give you 100,000 a year compared to maybe 50,000 here. So that's a no-brainer. Straight away, they're off to Australia. And that's what's happening. A lot of them are off to Australia because they're getting bigger money and all that. And there's a lot less hours, etc. Like the Gardaí here are working overtime. Like the Gardaí who are in the Gardaí now are working double time because there's not enough Gardaí, so they have to take up the slack. Oh, of course, we can't always agree on everything. Of course, that's reality. If you took 100 people and got them into the same room, and everybody agreed on everything, there'd be no interest in debates. There'd be nothing in life because everybody agree on everything. So, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. But I don't know. I suppose we don't have any video evidence of it, if that makes any sense. Like we have the video from inside the mosque in Cavan. Like them saying they can't be all Irish in the Garda Síochána. Call that far right racist, whatever. But I beg to differ. But playing my fidget spinner. Imagine this is what I'm doing on Saturday night. I'm just playing with my fidget spinner. Saturday night when I was young. Yeah, let me see. Sorry. Why am I sorry? I hate these spam bots in Twitter. To be totally honest with you, I absolutely hate them. Like, because they keep getting into my, well, not keep getting into my DMs, but they're literally, how would you put it? Like, they're literally just bots, even like messaging you on Twitter, and it's just very tiresome. What is this? Oh yeah, like you need some people like in the Gaudi that can speak different languages. I don't disagree with that because not everybody can speak English and Irish. Take this example. There'll be some people who can't speak it, so it's important to have some Gaud that can speak, take for example, Polish or Lithuanian, whatever it may be, or Russian even, or Spanish or French, because not everybody can speak English, and especially obviously if you're a border guard or work at customs, you probably should be able to speak a few languages. Because not everybody can speak English. I suppose to be appreciative of that. But obviously, an only guard shouldn't be able to learn all the languages in the world. It'd be impossible. But you get what I'm saying. Like a perfect example was when I was in Finland there. There was a post from Sweden. So Swedish is the second language in Finnish, along with Finnish in Finland. Like they learn Swedish in school. And there's a person that probably couldn't speak Finnish, probably from Sweden, I say. And the border guard spoke Swedish to him, pretty much. So you have to kind of be accommodating, I suppose, to people too, especially if they're tourists, etc. I'm not saying we're 200, but like if the need arises to speak, get a few guards to speak different languages so they can talk to people. Cop out. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But a lot of Irish people can only speak one language. Like if we asked the majority of Irish people, Can they speak, say, Spanish or Portuguese or Russian and stuff? Like, there'd be very few that probably could. Like fluent, that's what I'm saying. Well, not even in broken, but not many probably could. Like, I know from when I was in school, like I didn't learn French. I don't have a clue anything about French. But take for example, none of in my class could speak French. Now, like, they couldn't speak a whole sentence of French. That's what I'm trying to say. So it would be impossible for a person to, like, them whole people that were in my class couldn't speak French. So it'd be impossible for them to speak French. Problem solved. But no, I'm not even saying that for tourists coming here. We can't just deport tourists because they're coming in and spending a huge amount of money here. Oh, I get what you're saying, yeah. But sometimes you need. I'm not saying we're bringing them in. That's what I'm trying to say. Not saying we're bringing people in to be members of Gaudi, but you do need some Gaudi to be able to speak the language. Yeah. I'm not saying we bring in people especially to speak the languages and stuff. Like, I'm saying, yeah, you could teach the Gaudi in Ireland to be speaking, but it'd be difficult enough. Some languages would be difficult enough to get the Gaudi, some Irish people to speak. I suppose, yeah, but people like me, it'd be atrocious to try and understand me. Like, take for example, but all Finnish people can speak English. Majority of Finnish people can. Like, it would be impossible to get an Irish person to learn Finnish, pretty much. Like, it is an impossible task. How I know this, like, I was talking to a fellow who owns a pub in Finland, who literally married a Finnish woman who got lost on the way. And he still can't speak fluent Finnish. And he's there 7 years. And he can't speak Finnish. He can speak broken Finnish, but he can't speak full Finnish. Because, as he said to me, it's too hard. Like, it's far too hard to learn. And he's there 7 years and owns a pub in Finland, like, you couldn't, Irish people, I don't think, can learn Finnish. It's possible. You can learn some of it. But he can't speak fluent Finnish. So it would be impossible to get an Irish girl here to learn a bit of Finnish. But, you get what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the languages probably impossible to get an Irish person to learn. Because Finnish is actually quite difficult. It's actually one of the most difficult to learn. Like, even the translation of, like, just even in the phone. Like, I've shared it before on stream during the elections in April, the Finnish elections. Like, the Social Democrats did well, right? I think people maybe remember this. But there was a news headline, right? And it was translated from Finnish into English so we could understand it. And pretty much the translation pretty much had a meltdown. And pretty much the leader of the Social Democrats went home to his wife, to celebrate the victory. And pretty much the translation said he was going to fuck his wife in a serious way with his foot. Excuse my vocal language, but that's literally what the translation was like. And it was like, it's literally none of, like, it didn't even, like, how did you get there? How did we get from that to, I think the translation was he went and had dinner with his wife. And it said he was going to fuck his wife with his foot in a serious way. Like, like that probably shouldn't. I don't know what to say to you, but that's what the translation was, and everybody was talking about that because literally Google Translate had a meltdown, because the Finnish language is difficult, But I think people remember I showed it on stream and stuff because, like, Google Translate can simply not understand big Finnish words, but But no, that's what happened. It's often happened that there's big, huge Finnish words that are about 15 letters or something like that for simple things. Imagine somebody just coming in and just talking about that. Quite funny. Also, the UK, if you deem mass immigration into the UK as a threat, then you are a terrorist. Great stuff, mighty stuff. Basically, now, if you have an issue with migration in the UK, you're worse than I don't know, but you're a dangerous terrorist. Going by the UK government, but yeah, Keir Starmer always says that. What do you expect from Keir Starmer? Stun gunned. No, I don't think there was. Like they were definitely struck by lightning now. 100% they were definitely struck. Because quite literally, I seen the photos and stuff. Like, just like a big. I don't know how to describe, but it definitely was struck by lightning because it's just a mess, and it's not too far away from here either. RT still ignoring the elephant in the room, testing the space station. I'm sure they are. They hit a few cows. That's a quite test of the space station. I don't even want to think about that. But it was one. I think we should ask a vet. Talk to Joe. Talk to Joe. Joe. The sheep. Like literally, this was in the middle of the field, so I don't think so. Like quite literally, it's the middle of the field. There's not even a house around it. It's like just a field, a green field with a few trees in it, and that's pretty much it. There was not like literally no house or anything. So unless it was on the ground, but I don't think so. Because there was thunder. Because literally, it's only 5 minutes down the road, and there was thunder and lightning literally a few minutes before it. Yeah. So they're right in that. Because how I know that is, I was sitting here, and all of a sudden, a big, huge bang, from thunder, and then I seen the lightning strike fly across the sky. Um, so there definitely was lightning and thunder. There's no doubt, but it didn't last long. It only lasted about 10 minutes. Yeah, it was about probably the same time there. Yes, but I seen it go across. And I heard the big bang. There wasn't that many. It only lasted for about 10, 15 minutes. But I was sitting here looking at it, like some of the lightning going across, and the bangs and stuff. Like you see the lightning going across, and then you hear the bang. It goes faster than the speed of sound. Like there was smoke coming out of the tree. Yeah, the tree was pretty much destroyed. The tree was pretty much decapitated. Like the tree, like because it hit the tree at the moment, then electrocuted the cows. But the tree pretty much was obliterated. Like it was a smoke mess. Can you eat them cows now? I presume not, because they still probably have electricity on them and stuff. And probably are fried to the bone. Like these videos and photos, I've seen them. They're not the greatest scene to see. Let's put that way. So imagine it's only 5 minutes down the road. We could go and look, but it probably wouldn't be allowed on YouTube anyway. If you could look. But anyway, anything else before we go? We're just about to go, maybe in a few minutes. Like I think the farmer noticed straight away. To be totally honest, I think he went out to check his cattle and stuff. And that's how he found out he was going to feed them or something like that. Because obviously he's not around any house, so I presume he probably was going to feed them or do something, and that's how he figured out about it. because it's not like the house beside like the tree and the farm. It's a bit away. It's not like too far away, but still. So I hardly doubt the farm instantaneous new, unless he has a track or something on the cows, or cameras or something maybe. See, I don't know. I haven't been talking. I know who the person is, who owns the cows. I haven't been talking to. I haven't been talking to many people about it. I suppose let's put it that way. So I don't know. Yeah, but just goes to show you the power too of storms, and the danger of it. Like it is pretty dangerous. Um, like storms and stuff, and particularly Mother Nature. You never know, where lightning can strike and where all that can strike. But yeah, is there anything else then before we go tonight? But yeah, no, like, I'm trying to take there when I was here a few minutes ago. I must have been asked maybe 20 times. No, actually, no. I must be 200 times this year alone. And I'm only 6 months into the year. And I must have been asked about 600 times about this photo. Now, well, not photo, but this picture. Let's put it that way. Yeah, of course. Most of us 10 people, of course. But yeah, I must have been asked 600 times this year alone about it. That's a very nice thing to say. But still, regardless, anyway, you don't want somebody to be blown up by lightning. No, we're not playing any computer games tonight. There's not really any to play at the moment. Yeah, there isn't any at the moment. There'll be one coming up soon enough. But that's not probably to August, so it's still away, another 2 months away. So give or take, yeah, in August. Yeah, so it's a good while away yet, Tony. What's coming? You mean the game? Wait and see. It's going to be game of the year. Hopefully, all going well, of course. But that's still down the road. Maybe we might play some game before that. I don't know. See, the worst thing about doing game and video, like live streams and stuff, you need a lot of time to complete the game and stuff. And obviously, when you're working and stuff, it's very hard to get that time. To constantly play every night and stuff. That's difficult. It might be. Hopefully not, but we see. Give me a moment. Sorry. It's one more thing I want to show you before I go. He. I don't know what to say to that. Like AI is pretty scary, to be totally honest with you. It's pretty scary. Just for shits and giggles, because I never actually pressed this button before. I just pressed it there now. Just when I was going to look for this other thing I was going to show you. Like this way on the on your Twitter profile, you can see this profile somewhere. I actually never clicked that button before on anybody's profile. Um, you know, pretty sus that it knows I was in Helsinki. I didn't say I was in Tampa. I don't know why it felt the need to tell me, I was in Helsinki. And first of all, I actually never posted this on Twitter that I was in Helsinki and stuff. Uh, ooh, this is pretty funny. Critical of the Irish House and their mental health policies. It should include immigration, but why a place in Santa Mountain's inspiring leadership. Mighty stuff. Um, I don't know what to tell you that one, but um, I don't know what to tell you, but fair enough then. But it is pretty scary. I didn't even post that on Twitter that I went to Helsinki and stuff like that. It's pretty scary how the AI can just get you this information. Yeah, trying to. I didn't even know. I never even clicked that. Elon Musk knows. Well, Elon Musk himself is a bit addicted. I mean, excuse me, a bit, a bit, a bit of a praise of Santa Mountain, to a certain degree. So, yeah, he is like you can tell by looking at him, he is kind of autistic. He's very giddy and stuff like that, but that's not his fault, of course. But no, I find that very funny. Like, but it's my point to the whole lot of showing you about this is I didn't even put it up on Twitter that it was in Helsinki. It was in Finland, so it's very sus how it can tell me straight away. Um, you know, like, it gets worse every time it refreshes. It gets worse. Yeah, I'm probably autistic too, someone. Unpredictable, yeah, but I have so many people. Like I'm probably autistic too. Dyslexia is kind of the same as autism. It's a bit different in some ways, but you know, I'm just going to refresh this now. So this is the new thing I'm going to be doing every 5 seconds. But it doesn't tell you half. It tells you some stuff. I like. Am I at this point in life that this is going to be my record? um, what I mean by that is, like, I refreshed this already. Um, like every time, everything it says is Santa Mountain. So is this going to be my legacy? This picture on the wall. Like, let's see what it says now. It's just pretty. I have too much fun with this. That's all. Inspirational talks, great stuff. Like everything's just Santa Mountain. Like I don't know why it doesn't talk about immigration. Um, everything else but the immigration. Don't mention the immigration. It's like Elon Musk doesn't want us to top it. Oh, but then, like the thing about it is, when it said I recently traveled to Helsinki, I didn't even put that on Twitter just to say. So that's what shocked me the most. I didn't even put that on Twitter. So it must have found it from YouTube or something. Like the only thing I posted it on was YouTube. So it must have literally looked on YouTube for it, like whatever the fuck it does. Because I didn't even put it on like on Twitter itself. That's what I was more shocked about that bit. So Elon Musk is hacking my YouTube account. But not even that. Some of the stuff I never really posted about there uh, in all the years I've been on Twitter. Let me just see. Yeah. Like there's some of the stuff I never really talk about. It's more on YouTube that I've talked about it. So it is weird. Like YouTube, like AI is becoming too advanced. Like that's the whole point. Like it is scary. I never use like AI and stuff. Like I don't use it. Would you believe? I'm like Neve Smith, that's the minister for AI. I don't use it. Yeah, I do find it a bit over. Like um, I suppose AI is becoming too advanced for its our own good. If that makes any sense. I don't know. Does anybody else feel like that? So I'm looking for this other thing that I meant to be looking for. I didn't even know that existed on people's profile. Um, um, so that's going to be my reputation now. That's Santa Mountain's always attached. I know that sounds even dangerous. That sentence, but that's going to be my reputation and everything now. Regardless of what I do in life, it's going to be Santa Mountain this, Santa Mountain that. Because literally the only thing it constantly mentioned, like it wouldn't mind if it constantly mentioned the house inquest of defense forces. So it was like that. No, I didn't. So literally everything. You know, like literally look it up later on if you can. So yeah, probably will mention it all the time for me. Um, even though I never talked about the woman much in my life at all. What am I looking for? So I'm looking for this thing. This thing. I know we're keeping up late. We'll soon finish for the night. So the way. Um, Evito. Oh, oi, man, Aldo. The fuck. Sorry. No, what the fuck? Sorry. Um. Uh. Where the fuck? Like you probably didn't know, but Elon Musk replying to Santa Mountain back a few years ago when she was prime and stuff. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, 2021. So she was still the prime minister at the time. Um, so this is pretty much a meme because she was out partying, etc. It got 200,000 likes. Now, to be totally honest, I don't think Santa Moun's that great of a fan of Elon Musk. Um, Going by what she said when I was in Dublin too, that she said when she opens social media, it's awful things that's put in front of her. And not to mention, I don't think she's that fond of billionaires, etc., etc. I don't think she is. Um, so you know, wouldn't have a great relation. So there was response to this photo, this account put. Um, she seems pretty cool. So Elon Musk is a Santa Mountain fan. Um, but a lot of people took it like I don't know what you would say, but with what Santa Mountain replied back. Um, you know, because usually probably she wouldn't respond, but she probably had to respond. And Finland is cool too. Um, you know, then the happiest country in the world, etc., etc. Um, so yeah, that was Elon Musk interaction with that. You know, I'm going to show you something. Um, so let's see. So this is obviously the one I was sent, like for my birthday. This was the signed autograph that the fellow I know from Finland got her the sign, like literally got her the sign. But there was another one, and this was a person had it for sale on eBay. Um, well, it's a good while ago now, but I never showed it. I had this in my collection for a while, but I never showed it before. But this person met her when she was in Munich, the Munich Security Conference, which was the Prime Minister of Finland. So it pretty much is the same picture with a signed autograph, of course. So it pretty much is. I've been sitting on this for a while, but no, not sitting on it, you know. But it's pretty much it is Santa Mountain's signature, but it is the same photo. I don't know if you can see it, but it's literally the same photo. So there you go. So it is a printed autograph. So don't ask me why this person picked this photo for all things to put, you know, the former prime minister's signature. Like they literally put it in front of her and say, "Sign this." So that's that. So I got this a few years, like last year. Uh, yeah, pretty nice. But yeah. So I got this last year. I didn't tell you this, but I did. But so basically now I have 3 autographs to send them out. What I'm trying to say, because I got this one this year. This is the one that was like she personally signed for me. So there you go. So like that's the one that was personally said to me, pretty much. Was signed. This was one that somebody else got signed and put it up for auction. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah. So that's a no shocker. Elon Musk it was probably Elon Musk that got it. Yeah. But there you go. So coincidence, fine. You must be staring into my thing. Hello, everyone. I don't know if I said hello to you, but how are we doing? You came at the best time, but no, I had that there for the last while. I got it last year at some point. So we have more autographs than anything. So, hello, Gordon. Jesus, how long? It's been a long time. How are we doing? I hope we're well. But you know, they are legitimate autographs. Like they are legitimate autographs. Just to say, the other one especially, the one that I got there, just March gone by. That's legitimate. Because the fellow literally is a high up fellow in the Social Democrats. So you literally know Santa Mountain for a long, long time. I don't think Santa Mountain's that fond of him in general. Uh, you know, I don't think she has time for billionaires. You know, I don't think she likes that. No, we're not getting it tattooed yet. There's actually somebody that did once get a tattoo of Santa Mountain on them. Like on their arm and stuff. I can't remember where was that. I remember seeing it. What do you mean? Of course she. Hello, Trent. How we doing? Good evening. How we doing? No, she just doesn't. Don't think she'd drive with Elon Musk. Um, Not to mention what she said with some subtitles. Yeah. I've often finished songs, etc. Um, like they are very difficult. You wouldn't be able to sing them regardless of what kind of drugs you're on. But um, what else was I going to look? But yeah, no, I never showed you that before. But were you surprised by that by now that I pulled that out? But no, that person that I bought it off, they met her at the Munich Security Conference. This is before she lost the job as the Prime Minister. And he got when she was at the Munich Security Conference. Uh, so, so it's a funny said. No, I even said it to him at the time. The fellow bought it off. It's a funny picture to like to go to the Prime Minister of Finland with and ask her to sign it. Funny thing to go with. I wonder what she thought when he came up with and asked her, "Can you sign this?" Because literally that told it signed it. So she must have been a bit taken aback of it when he came up look for the sign that. But do you drink Barry's tea? Like any tea you drink. Yeah, we missed you, Gordon. We missed you. Everybody missed you. Everybody was wondering where you were. Jesus, everybody comes out at night. She's all nightcrawlers. Cat girl picture. There probably is one that exists somewhere. Because again, this was a private individual. Like the one I got there, the other one that's in the grey one with the Japanese flag on it. Like that was one that she specially signed for me. Just there gone by in March. This other one was a private individual who happened to come across her and get her signature. That was. And the other one I have is the official Prime Minister's one that was sent from the Prime Minister's office, not to me, but a person I know in Finland that sold it on to me. If that makes any sense. So pretty much we have three. Waterford factory. I'm not even near Waterford. I couldn't tell you where Waterford factory is. Night crawlers, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I had that. I was sitting on that for a while. I probably should have showed just that, but yeah, I never got around to really show you. I was more chuffed with the one that I got personally from her. To be totally honest with you, the one in March because it was specially like signed for me. That's what I'm saying. So I was quite happy with that one. I know it was first world problems. First world problems. Where in the name of fuck? What was I going to look for? Oh yeah, it's raining. Sorry, I'm tricking about here. Call in, yeah. That was talked about at one stage, but it would be insane, and we probably would go on for hours, and that's the thing. Maybe some point we do it, but not probably on this channel. We probably, if we were ever going to that, probably on another channel. Because some stuff we said wouldn't be probably good enough. Where's the UFO guy? I probably should bring him. I was just thinking about that. I should probably bring him on some night. When's the next stream? Wednesday? I don't know. I'll see if he maybe is around Wednesday. I wing him and see maybe if he has maybe 20 minutes he can come on. We'll see. But I don't know. He's busy with college and different things. So it'd be hard probably to get him. But I have no problem. I bring him on. Now, he's my moderator here, so I have no problem bringing him on. But see, with other people, you never know what they could say. I'm not afraid of people, speaking the mind and stuff, but YouTube is a bit, and that's probably that's the problem too. Oh, I know that's the fun. I'm not really afraid of that, but it's YouTube that I'm more worried about. But we might do it someday. I was not really there's a family friendly channel. It's YouTube is the problem. If somebody said something, uh, insane, off the charts, pretty much. YouTube would have pretty, we would probably be banned or just, suspended or whatever. Um, you know, because it's not the person that says it that would be in trouble. It'd be the person who owns the channel would be in trouble. Um, so, no, we're not. We're not going to do it. But someday we might do another channel, probably. Like one stage back. This is a long time ago now. It must be 3 years ago. No, not 3 years ago. It must be 4 or 5 years ago. There was a suggestion made, and we were kind of going to do it, but we didn't do it. And there was a lot of suggestions. There was a suggestion made too by a person who owns a B&B that I should go to all create a YouTube channel that's dedicated just to go to all the hotels and bed and breakfasts in Cavan, and pretty much advise people who are coming to visit Cavan which one to stay in, which one I would recommend, and what's bang for your buck. We probably could do something like that someday, but it's the fact of the matter, the effort of having to go to literally the hotel 5 minutes down the road and say, I'm going to stay the night here. Literally, where are you from? So I'm from up the road. Like somebody would take your man in the head. Like imagine me going into the Hotel Kilmore now in the morning. That's about 10 minutes out the road from me, and say, I want to book a room for tonight. Where are you from? So I'm from down the road, like quite literally. I think they would probably put me in a mental hospital for just going in for a night. So that was suggested to me one time, and even by a person that owned Airbnb, not an Airbnb, one I'm talking about, like a B&B. They said you could come to our house for a night, and we're not charging too much and stuff, and do it and stuff, and just show, oh, I got this and I paid this much and I got this and there's a nice garden to it and all that, the usual few thing. But it wouldn't be done this time. But maybe someday we could do that. Yeah. Seeing an Irish hotel. They're just kind of bog standard. A lot of them are not too fancy. The only ones that would be really fancy. There's a few fancy hotels in Cavan, yeah. But someday we might do it. But you get what I'm saying. There nearly would be no more deal than going to Finland. That's the funniest thing. Like the Hotel Kim was something like 100 and something euro a night in County Cavan for the Hotel Kim. And the Farnham Estate is something like nearly 200 or something a night. There's a castle hotel, Cabo Castle, yeah, near Kingscourt, yeah. That's one that exists in Cavan. That's really dear too. And like the nearest deal is the ones in Finland. Don't ask me why, but makes sense. But see, there would be absolutely it drive me mad. Like going to some of them, because some of them are literally in the back end of nowhere. So, yeah, but we should do that probably someday. Like I'd be up to do that someday. We're not like every 5 minutes of the day I'd be doing it, but every once or 3 times a year we would do it. Work related, yeah, but I wouldn't be obviously putting ads and stuff, and I wouldn't be making money from the channel. It'd be pretty scummy to do that, like to make money from the channel, like to put ads and stuff on. It'd be a very scummy thing to do. Like not on this channel. We're talking if I did do that, we put on another channel. But that was talked about 3 or 4 years ago. To do such like, and again, the first person who mentioned it to me was the fellow that owns like not an Airbnb bed and breakfast. So he was the first person to mention it to me. He was like, "You could do that." Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you would probably go mad, and it'd be a very scummy thing to do too, to make money off it. Especially because I have my own job. I don't pretty much need any money outside my own job. You get what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. It'd be different if I wasn't working, and YouTube was my job and stuff like that. But that'd be a different story. But it's the fact of the matter: you have a full-time job. You shouldn't be taking money off after that. That was what I'm trying to say. Like it'd be different if you didn't have that. You could maybe take money from YouTube, but when you have a full-time job, you shouldn't be looking for money elsewhere. You have enough to do, and that's That's my narrative of it. Like I couldn't monetize this channel, I never did. So I don't think I ever will start. Unless I got kicked off YouTube and stuff, maybe. Well, not kicked off, but lost my job, maybe, or something. But still don't think it would go begging, like, for YouTube ads and stuff. I don't think it would. So. Yeah, I'm not talking about just in Ireland. I'm talking about just in County Cavan. Like, I wouldn't be going all across the country to do it. It'd be only in County Cavan, like, be Cavan with views or something like that, I would call it. Like, it's only in County Cavan I'm talking about it. I'm not talking about going to every other county in the country. I would literally lose my mind, to be totally honest with you. Because I would only be open to do it in Cavan, because it would make sense as a Cavan person. You're able to say about the local area and stuff like that. Because obviously from Cavan and stuff like that, and the good attractions and what to go to. You know, that's what I'm saying. Compared to me going down to, say, Clare, that I don't have a clue about Clare. You're coming down and saying, "Oh, this is great," this, that, and the other. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Like things like that, saying, "Oh, this is good Irish breakfast I got," and stuff. What happened? Yeah, we could do that too. They might be mortified. Mortified. Yes. But no, we could do that someday. I'd be open to do it someday. But it would look very weird. But where you're coming from, so down the road, like quite literally, like I would look very well going into the Hotel Kilmore, and obviously know me in the Kilburn, in the Crystal too, and saying I want to stay here for tonight. Where are you coming from? You're coming from America. You're British. You're Finnish. I'm coming from 2 minutes down the road. They probably would wing the mental hospital for me. Oh, but I'm just saying, in the hotel, they'd be like, "Oh, you're a tourist from America," and stuff. The way Irish people would be like. When I stayed in Dublin once, when I was young, when I first went up to Dublin when I was younger, like there was two elderly couple who owned the hotel, and they were like, "Oh, you're from England or somewhere else. You're from Scotland. You're coming to visit." That'd be the attitude. You're coming. Oh, where are you coming from? Oh, I know a person from there. The Irish attitude. Oh, you're from Scotland. Oh, I knew a man that went off to Glasgow. Oh, he was a good lad, and then he got a job over in the shipyard in Scotland. Yourself, the Irish people, to go on like that. In Finland, there was none of that in the hotels. They just kind of signed you in, and there was no talk. There was no discussion. That was kind of that. In Ireland, that's the discussion. Oh, where you from? Oh, I know Johnny from school days. Oh, sure, look, and I know him. Oh, sure. And that's what you get in the Irish hotels. The Irish hospitality. A big discussion. That's what you get. Get your keys to the machine. Yeah, I don't do that. I just go and like when I was in Helsinki there, when I stayed in the hotel, I went to the couch and stuff like that. It's I don't like doing it online. I'm no good with online stuff. Imagine that. YouTube are no good. But yeah. But that's what. So someday we might do that. Someday, maybe. So we're going to do something here just for a second. To talk to, but he's worse than the Finns. The Finnish people do that too. But no, I rather talk to a person and stuff like, especially with dyslexia. It's quite difficult. The Finland forms and stuff like that. How many Finnish subs have? I have a good few actually. Must have, because the people I met over there must have about 20, and that's people I know, like physically know. So I don't know apart from that. But there's a good few people actually watch me from Finland for some reason. Like literally, 15% of the people watching me are from Finland. Like that's more than I think. Actually, excuse me, it's more from Australia, New Zealand, them countries. Like the top people who watch me is Irish people, of course. It's 70% Irish or something like that, and then the next is British. I think it's something like 10% or something. Yeah, but that'll be about 80. And I think the United States is about 7%. There's only 7% of people from America watch me. And then the West is Finnish, and then a few Australians and New Zealanders. Difficult for me. Yeah, well, it's difficult. It is difficult, but it's good to have a human conversation and stuff. The human element, I suppose, too. Like I talk away regardless of who I'm talking to. Like I only talk to people when they talk to me. If that makes any sense, I don't go looking for conferences unless I know the person. I go and talk to them, but I just don't go randomly into buildings and start talking to people. Because unless people want to have a conversation, I talk to them. Like I don't shut my mouth pretty much if you talk to me in the street, uh, which is the worst thing you could do. But that's the thing. But I don't like annoy anybody if they don't talk to me pretty much. Because again, some people just want to be left alone and stuff, and I appreciate that. I understand that. But I don't mind. I talk to people away, but you have to respect people's personal spaces and stuff. It's the same in Finland. Finnish people, unless you engage, like talking to them, unless they have to talk to you, they only talk to you then. But when they talk to you, they don't shut up. When you gain their trust, they won't shut up. And that's the problem with them. Very trusting. There was actually another thing I wanted to show you. Where is this? We were talking about tattoos. And what am I looking at here, Tom? Chat among yourselves for 2 seconds. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. It is literally 12 o'clock in the morning. What time do we call on this? What time do you call this? You see in a second. I'll try and explain it. It's better to me to show you these things than Now, where is it? I'll top. It is probably a short. See. You did a stream Wednesday. I think it was Thursday, yeah. Oh no, it's Wednesday, yeah. Let me see. But Santa Mountain early on. This big of Santa Mountain that time. This is back a while ago, but they did. So it wouldn't be the first thing. Also, along with Santa Mountain, I just want to talk shit about the True Finns for a second. Because the True Finns are saying it's the most cheapest at the moment. Wiki came out with this bullshit a few minutes ago, about 2 hours ago, that Finland has the most cheapest gas and fuel ever. But they don't have shit on this because the gas and fuel was cheaper when Santa Mountain was prime minister. So as soon as you mentioned this is Wiki and the True Finns reaction. Because it actually is the truth that when Santa Mountain was prime minister, gas and pretty much fuel and everything was cheaper under Santa Mountain than the True Finns. Boom. Total meltdown. Do they get hot springs? They do. Like it's hot enough in Finland at the moment. Like it's 22 degrees or something. Like in Finland, like in Helsinki today. Like not now because it's dark, but the midnight sun's still happening. Which is supposed to be Santa Mountain? The picture, you mean? Is that what you're talking about, Jan? Yeah, that's Santa Mountain, yeah. It actually is cheaper, yeah. Because it was actually cheaper on the Santa Mountain because the government took an emergency, like the Santa Mountain's government at the time, because the prices were going through the roof across Europe because of it was during the Russian-Ukraine war when that first started, and the Finnish government, Santa Mountain, took a decision that the government would subsidize the oil that's coming in, the fuel and stuff that's coming in from other parts of Finland. So the government subsidized a lot of the fuel that was coming in. and the government like the Finnish government seized a few, like what they got. They had a stockpile too of fuel and stuff to use. So it was down to two things: that the stockpile, that a huge stockpile of fuel left, or like that was kept aside pretty much for emergencies. So they were able to give that fuel out to petrol stations. So pretty much they didn't need to import it. Um, and not only that, any fuel that were important, like into Finland, was at a reduced rate because the government was subsidizing it. And that makes any sense. So it was cheap because the government give out the stockpile of fuel, pretty much. If that makes any sense. So it was cheaper because at the moment the true Finns are, because the inflation's gone through the roof, the Webber debt has gone through the roof, so it's higher than ever. And they're not willing to give out the stockpile of fuel that they have. The current Finnish government. Hello, Pekka, how are you doing? That makes any sense, but that's what happened. So that's why everybody always says fuel was more cheap than San was there, because the government actually did something to help people. But look, she paid back all that money, as I said, and it is proven that she paid it back. And it is a bit stupid, like in the Prime Minister's residence. Like, you mean to tell me now, if I go up to House and the one in the morning to President Higgins, you mean to tell me that we're paying for he's paying for his own breakfast and his own dinner? Like, we had to pay, it was 15,000 euros up in a year for his dog's dinner, like dog's breakfast in the morning, his dinner. What his dogs were eating in House and the one. I guess who was paying that? You and me. So you mean to tell me he's paying for his own dinner and breakfast? And what about Leo Fracco and Simon Harris and me whole mountain? You mean to tell me they are in the Taoiseach's residence paying for their own breakfast? And do you mean to tell me my local TDs in Dáil Éireann in the Dáil Bar are paying for their tea and breakfast and everything? No, they're not. We're paying for it. So, so it's pretty stupid that they were crying about Santa Marin with a bit of breakfast. We're crying about that. But in fairness to the woman, she actually paid it. Like, she actually paid the money back. Like, none of the Irish politicians will ever do that. Out of her own pocket, of course, too. But do you mean to tell me, like, Michael D. Higgins' dog, think about this, was 15,000 euro in dog food for the taxpayer? You and I had to pay it. 15,000 back a while ago. 15,000 euro for dog food. So imagine how much it costs to give him his breakfast and his dinner and then his lunch and his tea. We'd be probably looking at a few million a year with a butler and everything. And the same with Michal Martin and Leo Varadkar. You mean to tell me they fucked out the money? Or any RTDs. Our TDs owe a huge amount of money in the Dáil. We had to flip the bill of 3 million euro because they didn't pay the money in the Dáil. They owed a huge amount of money in the Dáil and it has to be paid. And the Irish taxpayer had to flip the bill for it. So you mean to tell me that they would pay what? Yeah, they mean to tell me that they would willingly pay what Santa Marin paid. I don't know. Yeah, I knew you were going to start that. But no, what I'm trying to say is, you mean to tell me Michael D. Higgins, we went up to him tomorrow and made him pay for this year's bill for his lunch and dinner and all that, this dog food? Do you mean to tell me he's going to say, yeah, I paid? Do you mean to tell me you're not taking it all the way to court to argue his case that the Irish taxpayer should pay it? I'd say the same would be for Leo Varadkar and Simon Harris and me whole mountain. So the woman takes real leadership, in putting them out where the money where her mouth is. You only found out about this 2 seconds ago, did you? And I can mention to them here. Yeah, well, that's the only thing you're probably going to find, just to say. But that's not even negative. Like, nobody cared. Like, the majority of people in Finland at the time, no one really cared. Because the majority of people thought it was very stupid. That literally in the Prime Minister's, like, this is not out in the street or out in the restaurants. In the Prime Minister's own residence. Again, this is for 3 people, her husband at the time and herself and her daughter. For a year and stuff. And the Prime Minister's residence is prepared by the cook that's employed by the government to get them food in the morning and stuff. Like, let's be honest, this is a bit stupid because in every other country, you mean to tell me that the Prime Minister's paying for their own, breakfast? You mean to tell me that? Like, nobody does that. Like, Michael Higgins doesn't, Leo Varadkar doesn't, definitely Simon Harris doesn't. Like none of them. No, that would be unheard of here if that ever happened. It would be madness. They would go mad. Like, you mean to tell me if he said to me, "Hot Martin now in the morning, no more free snacks. You have to pay for everything." He would lose the plot. No wonder maybe that's why he's calling people mongols, because they're asking him to pay for his breakfast. So that's the reason why. Me, Hot Mountains lost the plot. Trump with the McDonald's in the White House. Yeah, he's fond of McDonald's, yeah. Excuse me, sorry, apologies. I don't know that. To be totally honest, I don't know. I don't know actually what she had for breakfast and stuff. I don't think she ever really said it. No, I don't think she ever really said it. I can't remember now how I was saying something. No, I don't think she ever said anything about it. No, not that I recall. I ever mentioned it in anything about what she had for breakfast. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, she's vegan anyway, so she wouldn't be eating any meat. It's vegan. She's vegan. Vegetarian and vegan, I think. I think I'm right in that, yeah. Is it vegetarian or vegan? I can't actually remember. I can't actually know. I don't actually know that. Imagine that. I don't actually know. It's one of the two. I remember saying about it. It's too late at night to be asked. They're doing these tough questions. I actually don't know which one is it. No, we're not, man. I think no. I might be getting confused. No, it's not. No, it's not vegan. Sorry. No, it isn't. It's this. Whatever you call this. What is this? Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Sorry. This is what, because I know for a fact this is what it is. It's not that she's. Is this vegan or what is this? It's not vegan. It's something else. I'm not too sure. That's what she is anyway. What is that? Um, Vegetarian. It's vegetarian. Yeah. Am I right in saying it is vegetarian? Yeah. See, I'm not into this this newfangled nonsense. It is vegetarian. Am I right? It's not vegan. It's vegetarian. Yes. Am I right in that? Yes. I'm getting confused between it. To be totally honest, I knew it was one of the two. I couldn't remember which one she said. No meat. Yeah. Like I couldn't remember which one she said that time because she did say it before in an interview. Yeah. The hard questions. Yeah, but I couldn't remember for the life of me there. What was it? Oi, man, this. E. Probably show up in the videos. Which? Oh, sorry, yeah. To win back, yes. But it seems like it's going that way anyway, because there's a lot of people turning up to protest and stuff. I think the next one's in Carrickmacross. I think next Saturday. I might be wrong. I think it is next Saturday. Then there's the one in Dublin, the 22nd. Good morning. Yes, exactly, John. Good morning. You're still here, in other words. But yeah, we'll probably go now in a second. So is there anything else you have to say? Is Brian have anything else to say before we leave tonight? Yeah, but it is vegan, wasn't it? Just so I know from my own personal memory, I suppose. It isn't vegan. Like, it is vegan. That's what I just talked about there, wasn't it? Just to know, because I'm getting confused between vegan and vegetarianism. Which one is it? It is vegan, isn't it? Yeah, Gordon, go ahead. I think we know, but yeah. He caught you in the back. He was sneaking up on you. Emerald Mines in Ireland. There probably is, yeah. There probably is a few. Great stuff. Yeah, so that's Sandeman, yes. See, I got confused with dyslexia sometimes, but I knew she was one of the two. Couldn't remember. Yeah, but there's a lot of that in Finland in general. Like, what do you call it? Vegan things and vegetarian stuff. There's a lot of that in restaurants and hotels in Finland. Like a lot of Finnish people are that already. So, steaks. Oh, lordy dog. Excuse me. You wouldn't want to be buying snakes. Snakes. You wouldn't be want to buy steaks in Finland. Snakes. Because in one hotel, where I was staying, I think a steak on the menu. It's something like €50 for one steak. Snakes are cool. Yeah. St. Patrick never got rid of them, unfortunately, because they're in Darleon at the moment. There's loads of snakes. They have two legs. They're sitting in Darleon. That's the snakes. Oh, well, the country is falling apart, yes. It's hard to know now how many people have been robbed and killed and all that. But anyway, lads and lasses, I think we're going to leave it there for tonight. We're here for far too long. So it's your fault. When we like the true films, we're going to blame you for it. So yeah. Some have two legs and some have three legs, aye. But anyway, anything else before we go? Any other things? Any other complaints? Because we need to relax a bit. Lovely stuff, Gordon. Thank you. But anyway, thank you, everyone. We leave it there. So we'll be back probably Wednesday. Hopefully all going well. We'll see if this man comes with his table. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see. But apart from that, that's it. That's all for tonight. So again, apologies for the late live stream, but what can you do? So yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you Wednesday. There'll probably be a video or two up maybe tomorrow. That's already recorded. They'll probably go up. So yeah, if you haven't seen my latest videos, please have a look at them. Very important stuff I discussed, in particular the last one uploaded. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more, and good night.